pulled the way back machine and watched Warcraft from 2016 on Netflix? Well, let's talk about it right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me as we chat about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I'm your host, Frank Zank. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And I'm going to be working with another production company. We've had some good meetings, so I'm excited about what the immediate future is going to hold. But in the meantime, let's chat about Warcraft. I haven't seen Warcraft. I saw it in the theater, of course. But before we jump into it, remember to give me a like and give me a subscribe if you can. I'm trying to grow the channel out. Also, if you're looking for anything that I've written in the past, you can check out the description below for my link to my Amazon page. Plus, Mark Spears and I are relaunching Mythlords, the classic Monsters card game, on Kickstarter. So yeah, we're doing Kickstarter instead of BackerKit, and the description below will also have the link where you can sign up to get notified. We are going to be launching right after Gen Con. If you are going to be at Gen Con, let me know, which is in Indiana. It's basically Comic-Con for board games, and so it's going to be fun. Anyway, we'll talk about that at the end. So let's jump into Warcraft. So Warcraft is, of course, taken from a video game, a very, very popular multiplayer online game by Blizzard. It's been around for a long time, and it's has millions and millions of people that play it. So with that being said, I saw it in the theater, and then I saw it on Netflix pop up that it was newly added, and I think it was actually, pretty decently watched. So I decided to watch it again. I think this is like the fourth or fifth time that I'm watching it. So you can tell that I am a fan. I am a fan of fantasy. And I know that, it wasn't highly regarded in the States. So Warcraft had a $160 million budget. And the problem was that it did not do well in the States. It did under $100 million in the States. I think it only did like $49 million. And then it did an additional $400 million internationally. So it did end up breaking even, but it just didn't make money. So it was called a flop, even though it really wasn't a flop, but it didn't. Obviously, if you did a second one, it would do less money than the first one. So they never endeavored to do that, even though the film never ended. So it was completely set up for a sequel. The story did not end, and it was basically put out to pasture. It's unfortunate. It is unfortunate. So as far as the audience score and versus the score on Rotten Tomatoes for the reviewers were very harsh on it, giving it like 29%. But it did like a 76% for audiences. So it wasn't regarded well as a, film that was going to be Oscar worthy. But as far as an entertaining story in the fantasy genre, generally the audiences liked it. So it was written and directed by Duncan Jones, who I guess has since left the business. And he did Moon and Source Code, and then he did a movie called Mute in 2018, which was right after Warcraft, and then I guess he never got work again. I have never heard of Mute, but, he did Warcraft, did that, and literally nothing. He literally has nothing. He has something coming up called Rogue Trooper, which is in post-production, which is now, so wouldn't be released till 2025. So he went from 2018 to 2025 with no credits. So I don't know what happened there during that period of time, why it took him so long to get another gig. especially when this movie was not a failure. The other writer on this was Charles Leavitt, who did the last Angelina Jolie film. He wrote Those Who Wish Me Dead. It was the one where she's she's the firefighter with the child that's being hunted. He did Blood Diamond. He did Seventh Son. So he's done a lot of stuff. In the Heart of the Sea, which I think was with Hemsworth. So he's done a lot of films. Not a lot because he's only written 10 films, but a lot of the films had major credits in them as far as talents are concerned. I don't think many of them made a lot of money, but he continually is to write things that do get produced. So this is a medieval. I don't know if it's really medieval. It's fantasy. It has a medieval setting because there's kings and queens and palaces and things to that effect. And I am going to talk about some spoilers because the movie's ancient. But this is a movie that tells both sides of the war. So it's told from the orc side and it's told from the human side, which I think is very different than anything we've ever seen. And I like that. I like the fact that we're seeing the good guys and technically the bad guys, and what their motivations are, what they're trying to do, and why they're trying to do it. And in here, the good guys are really the good guys, and some of the bad guys are not really bad guys. So it definitely shows orcs in a different light, where they're not just warmongers, that some of them are looking to have a future. Again, I think that's very prophetic, and I like that dichotomy that we're seeing on the screen. So the beginning is told from the point of view of Durotan. And Durotan and Draka are orcs. They are expecting a child, and which is changing Durotan's point of view. I don't know if it's changing it, but it's definitely enhancing his point of view of what he thinks his clan, the future of his clan, should be. And we have this magic user, and a magic user orc. He's controlling a thing called the Fell. And this thing called the Fell is he draws life to create magic. And by doing this, every time I think it's Gul'dan, played by Daniel Wu. So there's a lot of really good names in here. Clancy Brown plays a name, one of the characters. We have Anna Galvin, Tony Kebbell, who does a lot of voiceover stuff as well as regular acting as well. But so we have a really great cast of characters here. So the orcs are all CG, but I think they're all like motion capture type of situation. He takes energy, but if there's no people around, he literally takes it from the actual planet. Basically has destroyed the planet with the amount of magic that he's used. So the orcs have no choice but to leave because they can't eat anymore. They're basically going to be starving because of everything that's been destroyed. So Gul'dan, I guess, comes up with a pact with another magic user in another dimension, or another parallel world, however you want to say it, and they're going to open a portal to allow the orcs to come in and invade, and then they're going to take over that planet or that land, however you want to say it. So that's the whole plan, and that is the basis of the plot, because the other land belongs to the humans that have done nothing wrong. And I guess they've been living in peace. They're living under a king, and I forgot the name of the king, but Lane Wynn. They barely ever say his name. He's just the king. But it's played by Dominic Cooper, who he played Howard Stark, the young Howard Stark, in a lot of stuff for Marvel. So I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. he was in, stuff like that. Agent Carter, I know he was in there. Anyway, he's done a lot of different things. So, but I think the claim to fame would be the Howard Stark role. He was also played Preacher. He also played the main guy in Preacher. So we have Paula Patton, who we never really understand how she's a half-breed, but a half-breed of what? Because I don't know if they've ever seen humans. I guess they have seen humans because they're capturing them and using Dirt, and Gul'dan's going to use their life essence to open the portal. But he can only open the portal for a certain amount of time because he only has a certain amount of people to draw life from to do it. But anyway, Paula Patton looks great in this part. Of course, she was also in Mission Impossible, Deja Vu, Hitch. I mean, she's done just a pile of stuff. She's done a lot of TV recently. She's done a couple of series. But anyway, if anybody's watched my previous movie reviews and things to that effect, everybody knows that I have a thing for women, with green skinned women. So I think she looks great in here. She looks super sexy, and she definitely looks capable of wielding a sword. So I love pretty much all the cast. We also have Travis Fimmel, who is basically the main warrior in here. Of course, he was in Vikings. He played Ragnar in Vikings. And then we have Ben Foster, who's playing the Guardian Medivh, and he's kind of the wild card here. Of course, Ben Foster has done a pile of different things. My favorite part that he ever played was 310 from Yuma, but he was also in Hell and High Water, so that's pretty much the two things that I really know him from. And then Ruth Negga plays the Queen, and she was also Dominic's partner in Preacher. So they're both from Preacher, which is very interesting. The storyline goes that now they go across into man's world, the human world, and now they're taking stuff over, but Durotan sees that no matter where they go, Gul'dan's power is destroying it. And it's only a period of time before the Fel destroys the Earth as well. And then they have to move on again. So they realize that if they move into this new place, maybe they can strike a deal with the humans, take Gul'dan out, and they can coexist in this new world where he can raise his child. And that's the basis of the storyline. I'm not going to go into any other spoilers besides basically what I've seen, which is the basic plot. So yeah, I love the armor that they built here. The sets that are built are amazing. The CGI, I think, is decent for the most part, especially when half your characters are CGI, and you have to believe that they have heart, and they have families, and they have, we have to see them as living things that have similar problems that humans have. So we have to identify with them. So if the CGI isn't good enough for their facial expressions and things like that, especially with Durotan, then we're not going to believe the storyline. We're not going to believe that these two characters, meaning not only the king, but Lothar, which is Travis Fimmel's character, that they can't try to coexist. They can't try to work things out while this big war is about to take place. The battle scenes are amazing, and we get to see dwarves. We get to see elves. We don't get to see them, unfortunately, in the big battle, which is really what I wanted. I really wanted them to come in at the end, but they don't. And then what happens with Durotan and Drake's child, we don't know at this point. And then Garona, which is Paula Patton's character, is taken in by the humans, and I think she feels a kinship with them because of the fact that they treat her like one of them. And she ends up fighting on their side, but she has to make a terrible choice by the end. There's a whole lot of choices that have to be made by both sides that leads into a very dramatic ending that does not end well for, I think, both sides. Again, I really, really enjoyed this film. I wouldn't have watched it 5 times if I didn't. If you are a fantasy fan and you have not given this movie a chance, I suggest you do. I recommend it wholeheartedly. I think that it got just a really bad rap for whatever reason, that nobody went to see it. I don't really know why, because I believe that it was actually better than some of the stuff that The Hobbit did. So if you like The Hobbit, and I think this had, similar types of settings and characters. And again, the fight scenes are good because you have these monstrous, creatures that are orcs, pummeling humans. I mean, they don't have a shot unless they can dodge out the way. They're goners. So, the amount of sacrifices that need to be made, and that's, Lothar is forced into a sacrifice of a personal nature. I think I like the film, but let me know what you guys think. Since I've watched it so many times, I'm definitely at like a 7.5 to an 8 with it. It's not a perfect film. I'm not saying it's a perfect film. It's enjoyable. It's entertaining. It's got good characters to it, and I just don't think people have given it a chance. But if you saw it and you didn't like it, let me know why. What was the reasons why you didn't like it? It didn't follow the video game enough. You thought it was stupid. I don't know. Give me some ideas about what you didn't like about it. I mean, yeah, it gets corny at times, especially with, what we have with the golem going on and things to that effect. Yeah, it got cheesy at times. But again, I didn't have any problem with it. All right. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate you watching all the way to the end. Remember to give me that like, give me that thumbs up. If you can subscribe, please do. Ring that bell, ding, ding. And then on top of that, if you'd like to read something that I've written, remember the description below has the link to my Amazon page. And also, if you want to jump in and then find out some more information about the Classic Monsters card game that Mark Spears and I are doing, you would find the link to sign up to get notified about when we launch in early August. All right, I'll see you guys on the next one. Check out some of my other videos as well, and have a great week. All right, bye-bye.